Welcome back to module 2 of the resume builder formula. Now, if you are a good student and you've been learning and you are really thorough with module 1, I'm sure you've completed your assignment by now. And if you have done your assignment, then I'm sure you're feeling much more confident because you already understand what is a resume, what is the purpose of the resume, what are the different types of resumes, what is the right resume for you. You've also completed the career self-assessment, the questionnaire I gave you in assignment 1 by now, which would have helped you research and zero down on a couple of job descriptions and the titles and the positions that you want to target with your resume, isn't it? Right? I'm sure you've done that. And if you have done it, then you're ready to move to the next step, module 2. And if you haven't done your assignment and homework yet, I request you to pause right away. Please go back, complete your assignment 1, read all the templates, resume templates that I gave you, understand. Once you've completed your assignment, come back ready to start the module 2. All right. So let's move forward. What are we going to discuss in the module 2? Well, module 2 is all about craft your resume. So now that you understand the basics of this entire process, you understand, you also have a view to the recruitment process. You are now ready to begin the process of crafting your resume. So please grab your notepads and pens, ready to make all the notes. Okay. And let's move forward. So before we craft our resume, we have to understand that who is actually going through your resume, right? Of course, there are human beings, there's HR professionals, recruiters, and so on and so forth, people who would go through your resume. And we discussed how they just use about 30 odd seconds to scan your resume. But now we have competition, right? We have AI, we are living in a different world today. And there's a lot of technology development that's happening every single day. So we have something called ATS, and I'm sure you know about it already, but let me share and walk you through this detailed journey around ATS and bust so many myths that surround people, freshers, professionals. People call me all the time, Chinmay, please help us write the resume, but is the resume going to be ATS friendly? And we are just so intimidated by something that we don't know enough. So I thought it's a good idea to bring this topic up now and share more around application tracking system, the ATS, right? So what is an ATS? ATS are basically nothing but software applications that are used by companies, by employers to manage the recruitment process. Yeah, they screen the resumes to identify candidates who best match the job requirements. Now, in the first place, why ATS has been put in the place, or RTS that it may be called, recruitment tracking system, is because there is so many resumes that keep flowing day in, day out. It becomes very hard for any company to manage and to create that database in an organized way. Right? So, and even to standardize the screening process, because one HR professional or recruiter may look at a resume very differently from what anybody else would do. So just to minimize the human error, this entire process has been automated. Yeah. So it is basically software applications which has your job description fed in, that these are the job requirements that are needed for any individual to get shortlisted, which may include your skills, your education, your job responsibilities, and so on and so forth. And then the system actually screens all the resumes and find out and shortlist the best match of the for the resume to the job description. And if you remember in the module 1, I also spoke about how one resume is always customized and prepared with reference to the job position, right? So now you understand why that is important to be done, because ATS, which is a machine end of the day, has been fed in with the requirements, and the ATS is going to use that requirement as the benchmark, is going to consider that document as the threshold for the resumes to get shortlisted. Okay, so functionality. What is the functionality of the ATS? As I already said, it scans the resumes for keywords, formats, and relevant information before the human review. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, people forget that ATS, even though it's a machine, even though it's a system, it's a software, it has been created by a human, right? So the myth that it doesn't have any human bias is actually incorrect. More so because we don't know how this ATS has been designed. There is no standard software. Every company will customize the ATS or the RTS as per their requirements. Yeah. So you can only look at understand the structure, you can understand the process, and do your best to present your resume in the best possible light. But to be really sure, because you know the system exactly how it will operate, no, you don't know that. And people who say that I will give you a resume, or I will create a resume which will go through the ATS, nobody can guarantee that, right? So don't fall for such false promises. Okay, now, is ATS important? Take a moment and answer this question. Is an ATS important process, important software? Yes, most definitely. It is important and it is inevitable. You cannot ignore it, right? So what happens is, many companies use ATS to filter out unqualified applicants, right? Making it essential for your ATS to be, your resume to be ATS friendly. So since a lot of companies use it, you have to at least make sure that your basic requirements that you require, you're applying for a job, meet through your resume. Keyword matching is an important process that goes into an ATS, where it looks for the specific keywords related to the job description. Now, what are the keywords? Keywords is nothing but, when you go through a job description, it will have a list of skills, right? It will have a list of responsibilities. All those responsibilities, the sentences that you read, will have or may have a keyword, right? For example, strategy, right? For example, business development. Yeah. So every time you create a resume, you, in any which way, as we spoke yesterday, that before you apply for a job, you should look at the job description, the requirements, the keywords. And more so because of the ATS, because at least you have a fair chance to go to the next level. So you make sure that you always match the keywords. And when you match the keywords, basically what we are doing is, we are telling the story, the tool, the resume, you are leveraging it, and it is telling a story and a narrative that I am the right fit for this role, because I have the right keywords in my resume. And not just the resume, but in my experience, in my skills, in my strengths, in my education, I am the person, the right fit that you're looking for. Okay, so ATS looks for specific keywords related to JD, the job description. Including these keywords increases the chance of your resume being noticed. Yeah. Formatting. The proper formatting ensures your resume is readable by the ATS. And please avoid using complex formats, graphics, or images that may cause parsing errors. So, I meet a lot of young professionals who are into, using Canva and trying different innovative resume formats. And I'm not saying it is wrong, but you have to understand that you have to see which industry are you in, right? You have to understand that if you're applying in a big company, there has to be an application tracking system. And guess what? If you're using an extremely quirky design of your resume, you have all the chance that your resume will not even reach the next stage where a human will review your resume. It will automatically get declined and rejected and will not get shortlisted by the ATS, okay? Because ATS will not be able to read those kind of formats. So far so good. Let's move forward. So ATS is definitely very important and you cannot ignore it. Now, what are the common myths behind ATS? Okay, as I told you, there are a lot of myths that people have around ATS. Let us see one by one what are these myths, and actually, in contrast to the myth, what is the reality? What is the real picture that's happening behind the scenes which we don't know about? Okay, so one by one, let me bust those myths. Myth number one: ATS systems eliminate human bias completely. It is a myth. Okay. And I've already told you that let's not forget the ATS was designed by a human being. So inadvertently, there may be any bias that may get incorporated into the system. The algorithms may have some human bias. We don't know about that. And the final decision will always involve human judgment. Let's not forget that. ATS is only one small part of the process, but an important one, which I said you cannot ignore. But end of the day, the resume will reach a human for a review. And if you manipulate too much, which I do not advocate, even if you try to just add those keywords without making any sense, just to get past this stage, your resume will anyway get shortlisted when a human review happens at the later stage. Okay. So that is the myth number one: ATS systems eliminate human bias completely. The second myth is ATS only care about keywords. That is not true. The reality is it also cares about the skills, the context, the content, the experience, the education, and so on and so forth, right? How relevant, what are the relevant technologies that you're working on? Is your resume relevant with reference to the job description? Yeah. Modern ATS are more sophisticated and look for how keywords are used within the context of your skills and experiences. Myth number 3. ATS will automatically disqualify non-standard resumes. That is also not true. Reality is, while it is true that ATS may struggle to study and read overly complex formats, most systems are designed to read a wide range of resume formats. Standardizing your resumes to a simple, clear format increases the chance of being, screened correctly. So it is not just that if you don't use a standard resume, it will automatically get disqualified. That is not true. But you have to remember to keep it simple, keep it clear, keep it legible, in a clean format, right? Don't try to experiment too much is going to be my advice for you. Okay, the next myth, you don't need to tailor your resume for each job. Well, I've broken that myth already. We discussed it in the module number 1, but also with reference to the ATS, tailoring your resume to each job is crucial because each job is unique, right? ATS looks for specific keywords and phrases related to the job description, so a tailored resume will increase your chances of passing the initial screening. Okay, so the initial screening is very, very important. And we can move to the next myth. ATS will read and interpret graphics and images, right? That is also not true. Okay. So ATS typically cannot read or interpret graphics, images, or non-standard formats. It is best to use simple text and standard formatting to ensure all content is readable. All right. So ATS will read and interpret graphics and images. It is a myth, right? That is why it is important to keep it simple, clear, readable, okay, and not experiment too much. Myth is ATS are 100% accurate. That is not true also, right? Like humans, machines also make mistakes. So no system is perfect. ATS may miss certain qualifications or experiences if they are not presented in a way the system expects, right? This is why it is important to use clear and straightforward language and formatting, right? Keep your headings simple, keep them legible, keep them in a neat format, right? Keep it concise. That is very important. So shall we move ahead? Have we understood all the myths so far? Okay, the next myth. The process is a complete replacement for human interaction. That is also not true. So ATS assist with initial screenings, but human recruiters still play a crucial role in evaluating candidates. They use ATS data as a starting point, but rely on their judgment and further assessments to make a final decision. So ATS screening is only the step 1. It is not the final step. Eventually, a recruitment process is designed with a lot of steps in between, and the bigger the brand name, the bigger the company, the more professional and the more lengthy the process may be as we get to see it. But the process is not, the ATS is not replacement of human interaction whatsoever. The next myth is ATS are same across all the companies. That is not true also, and that is why I said that if somebody is telling you that I will create a resume for you which can get past ATS just like this, that is a lie, because that person doesn't know what is the kind of ATS that this company is administering and utilizing and using and customizing, because it keeps changing depending on their company requirements and the job requirements. So ATS is not same across all companies. Again, I repeat, there are only some basic steps that we can use, basic understanding and the formats that we can take care of, but we can never be sure that what is the ATS and how will it screen your resume. So the reality is, I said, different companies use different softwares, each with its own set of features and criteria. What works for one system might not work for another. So it is important to stay adaptable. Another myth, ATS only scan for hard skills. No, not true. ATS has been entered with the entire job description, which is a combination of your technical skills as well as soft skills, as well as education requirements, maybe a training certification requirement, right? So ATS is capable of recognizing both hard skills and soft skills, including relevant soft skills. Demonstrating their application in your work experience can also be beneficial. Having said that, I always tell people, don't lie on your resume, right? Stick to the truth, the true story, and believe in that story, all right? Once resume is in the ATS, it's gone forever. Not true. Reality is that resumes stored in the ATS are often kept in a database. So if it gets shortlisted, great, it will go to the next step, and probably a human will call you after screening your resume, reviewing it. But even if it doesn't get shortlisted, it always stays in the database for them to review later if there's a new requirement that comes in. Candidates can sometimes also apply for different positions within the same company without resubmitting a new application. Yeah, so what it tells is that if you have to submit your resume for another position, whichever platform you're using for applying, if you're doing it on the website, a lot of times the ATS is already in the back end. It is integrated with the website, and they may ask you that, have you applied in the last 6 months? And if you answer yes, maybe you will not have to redo the entire application, but maybe just talk about the role and why you're interested in it. So different companies have different systems. There is no one software being used. There is no one technology being used. There is not one process that is being used in all organizations. And so it is important to bear that in mind. Do your best with the system and let everything else be taken care of. Okay. So these are the common myths that I just covered around ATS. Make sure you understand them, and I'm sure you do. And I'm also now going to share with you very quick resume tips, because I have just talked about the myths. So you may say, Chinmay, that is great. We didn't know that, or maybe you did know some of it. But what do we do now? If I am a fresher, or if I am an individual, a candidate who's applying for a job, it is extremely daunting. How do I prepare my resume so that I am sure that ATS will screen my resume and hopefully my resume will get shortlisted, right? So before I get into the tips, the first thing I will tell you is that if you've done your career assessment, 360-degree career assessment that I gave you for your career in the assignment 1, you already are clear about the kind of roles you want to target. You are clear about the kind of qualifications you should have. You're clear about the location you want to target. You're also clear about what are the kind of roles that these companies or any company is looking for, which will match with your goals, your aspirations, and your strengths, right? So that would have already clarified. So please use that as your basic benchmark, right? Do you even want to play that role? Do you think you're fit to be, to play that role? And ATS comes later when you're crafting your resume. Then you do those final checks that, will my resume make it to the cut through the ATS? And my answer will be yes, invariably, provided you actually are fit for that role, provided you actually have done that due deliberation, that and with a lot of honesty and integrity, that yeah, this is the role I want to be, it's my target, it's my goal, but also the company will get the best fit in me. So my question to you will be that, do you have that confidence? Do you really believe in that role and believe in yourself? And have you done enough to make sure that when you look at the job description and you look at your resume, there is truly a match, not just on the paper, but in life, genuinely. Yeah. So be authentic is going to be my biggest tip for the resumes, for people who want to craft their resumes powerfully, and we are so focused sometimes on the nitty-gritties, the format, the structure, that we forget that actually it is the content, because it is telling your story. So first level check that, do you really think and believe that you are fit for that role? And then comes the ATS. So a few tips here: use relevant keywords, incorporate keywords from the job description into your resume. And I'm sure that they are not just keywords, something that you have done, something that you really possess as a skill. You have also showcased that skill, demonstrated that skill somewhere in your life. And then of course, if you're doing it genuinely, it will naturally come up in the resume, isn't it? So focus on the skills, qualifications, job titles that match the job posting. Keep the formatting simple. Use standard fonts, bullet points, and headings. Avoid tables, columns, and images. keep it consistent, right? And I cannot stress this point enough. You know, I see resumes all the time where they use different fonts, different bullets, and the first look and feel can tell people, and imagine they are not children, they are recruiters, right? People who are doing this day in and day out for years. The moment somebody picks up the resume, they will know if it is not consistent. So do that basic checks, please. Ensure your contact information, job title, dates are consistent. Make sure your email ID looks professional, right? And you know what I'm talking about. So remember, you're no more a student, right? You're no more in school or college. There is a certain professionalism expected from any organization who's beginning to look at you, critique you as for hiring, right? They will invest in you, yeah. So they want to be sure that they are putting their money at the right place. File format: save and submit your resume as a plain text or a PDF. So you always apply for a position with a PDF resume, right? Unless otherwise specified. Okay, always send your resume in a Word or a PDF. I always champion a PDF because it is difficult that the format gets distorted, it looks more clean, more professional, nobody can fiddle with that information, and so on. So here are these resume tips for you to crack ATS. I hope you found this session useful, right? I have explained about ATS, what is ATS, why companies use it, what are the myths around ATS, yeah. We busted those myths. I've also shared with you the background story, the reality, the real picture, so you understand this process better. And make sure that next time when you craft your resume, you remember all these tips and you optimize your resume to make sure that it goes past the ATS. And at the end of this module, I will give you an ATS guide which will help you optimize your resume accordingly. And in the next session, we are going to talk about different elements of a resume. So I'll see you in the next session. Goodbye for now.